Hello, my name is Doris Morgan Rueda. I'm a doctoral candidate in the Department of History here at UNLV who studies the history of juvenile justice and juvenile courts in the American Southwest. I will be presenting Art and Visual Culture as Tools of the Legal Historian, which was originally presented at the Western History Association in Portland, Oregon in October of 2021. My training since I began at UNLV has been as a legal historian, and most of my field of legal historians have overwhelmingly studied law through the many obvious types of texts one would expect a legal historian to look at. Things such as Supreme Court decisions, regulations, statutes, legal opinions, amicus briefs, newspapers, and even personal notes or letters from judges, attorneys, or plaintiffs. All are written texts that help us understand what the law is, what the law does, and how people in society have thought of the law and experienced the law. This has led to a general consensus, both within and from without of the legal historian community, that legal history is a text-based field of research. However, in addition to being a legal historian, I am an artist. I see visual cues and visual culture as a part of my historical research, so why not the field of legal history? In fact, much of my art is often inspired by historical research, so today I want to explore for a minute how we can introduce visual culture and an artistic eye to the field of legal history. I'm first inspired by the work of historian Michael Grossberg and his framework of legal storytelling, or a way of exploring how individuals begin to think of themselves as legal actors and craft their narratives and their selves to fit within a courtroom or legal proceeding. This is best developed in his book, A Judgment from Solomon. This framework allows us to start thinking about how visual materials such as photographs, television, popular culture, and the media portray law and legal culture. Some are created to explain the law to a general public, and some are created by the legal institutions themselves for a variety of purposes. These sources provide another window, beyond text, to see the law as a truly vivid space where visual cues often do as much to prove a point or shape a legal decision as something like the Nevada Revised Statutes Codebook does. I will provide some examples here. First, using the pop culture icon Judge Judy to provide a contemporary example of how law is often understood by non-legal historians. In fact, many audiences often encounter the law first through a show such as Judge Judy or even Law and Order. But as we can start to see, law is very much rich in terms of visual cues and visual rituals. My other examples are here from my own research. The bottom left is an image released by the city of San Diego in 1955 as part of its anti-juvenile delinquency programs, showing a cultural anthropologist examining confiscated weapons found on local youth. This was very much a part of their campaign to demonstrate that youth were in fact a danger and needed to be pathologized. So this image has a very critical purpose. The top right is the set design for the first play to depict the juvenile court in American history that became a popular high school play in the 1910s. This one was in particular put into production in a tiny high school in Arizona in 1912. And the very bottom is from the 1904 California newspaper depicting scenes from the state's very first juvenile court in San Francisco. All of these give us a better sense of how juvenile justice and juvenile courts were understood in their time and how Americans began to interact with this novel legal system. It being something that only began in 1899 in Chicago and spreads across the United States by the late 1920s, it is important for us to understand how Americans began to make sense of this legal system when many were not going to be trained attorneys, let alone trained juvenile justice philosophers. Visual culture is a tool for legal historians to explore law as a part of society rather than something separate. Furthermore, it provides us with the opportunity to further explore sources that legal historians may have disregarded or seen as not part of legal history. I propose that legal historians embrace visual culture as another tool of exploring law and society that can only enhance legal history as a discipline. Thank you for your time.